I'm gonna play this little John for y'all. Shouldn't get a strike for it.
Vacuum that coat, man.
Well. The most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi. Buck Nasser, what can I say about that suit that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? Looks bombed out and depleted. And of course, the so-called beautiful. Why don't you click your heels together 3 times and go back to Africa? And as for you, boss hole, very insulting what you said about my coat. It's made out of your mother's pubic hair. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go take my throne because I'm a shoo-in for Hater of the Year.
What is happening?
The Player Haters Ball gives us an opportunity to hate on a diverse array of mock-ass mocks, trick-ass mocks, punk bitches and skip-scap skanks and scallywags, hoes, heifers, hee-haws, and hula-hoops.
Man, you ought to take that cane and beat whoever made that suit to death.
Vacuum that coat, man.
Well.
When you look at it again, though, look at who he called Boss Hog. And his name is Patrice O'Neal. He did, Boss Hog did, and so is just
most diabolical haters this.
He did, and he did. A good color suit he got on.
Side of the Mississippi. Buck Nasser, what can I say about that suit that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? It looks bombed out and depleted. And of course, the so-called beautiful. Why don't you click your heels together 3 times and go back to Africa? And as for you, boss hole, very insulting what you said about my coat. It's made out of your mother's pubic hair. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go take my throne because I'm a shoo-in for Hater of the Year.
What is happening?
The Player Haters Ball gives us.
That's a skit. Now, we're going to get right into what I was telling y'all before. Oh, before we go out there, hold up, I did say one more thing. I'm going to give you, I told you, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Look at my title, and you see what I'm saying.
We were in the meeting, and someone said, Reverend Billy Cowles is outside, and he's upset. And Dr. King said, oh, my God, I forgot to tell y'all. I promised his wife, who's supposed to be a great soul food cooker, we'd have our feet on her table at 5:30. Now it's 5:45, and we sit in the meeting. Dr. King said, everybody rush, and get ready in a hurry. Let's go. So I ran down and got to my room. My key wouldn't open my door for some strange reason. The limousine that had been loaned to us, I opened my door. I could touch the limousine. And finally, I heard the driver tell Dr. King, I advise you get your top coat because even though I have the car on, it's still chilly. And the last words he said in this world, okay, Jonesy, I'll get my top coat. And I heard this thing say, bow. And I honestly thought someone had thrown a firecracker into the air. And I looked around to rebuke whoever was that stupid. And I heard something, bloop, fell up above my head. And I looked up and his leg was sticking through the rail. Dr. King only wore one type of sock and one type of shoe. And I knew that was him. I said, oh, my God, they got it. And then I had to run about 50 feet down and back up, and I got to him. And Ralph was holding his head, and Andy was there. And a guy from Africa who had been traveling with us as a newsman from Africa. We found out later on he was working for the CIA. No, the FBI, working for the FBI. And he had taken a lot of pictures of Dr. King. And I grabbed him in the throat and started choking him because the bullet hit Dr. King right here. And went round and cut his medulla oblongata. And I didn't want people to remember Dr. King with half his face shut off. So Andy ran and got a towel. And somehow or another, they took one more picture after I made him empty that camera. And it shows Dr. King down with a towel on his face. But I'm going to tell you, I was an expert gunner in World War II. When I ran up on that balcony and I looked from whence that bullet had to come, the distance of that bullet, and just could feel the wind blowing that day. I said, whomever shot that rifle was one of the best in the world. He shot one bullet. And I believe that Dr. King hadn't moved to go back and get his top coat, the bullet would hit him between the eyes. The bullet hit him right here. But what happened, and then Ralph said, we'll go in and take him on to the hospital. Jose, you get all the staff together. 3 of us saw it, Dr. King, after he was shot. 3 SLC executive staff members. Andy, Abernathy, and Jose Williams. Those are the 3 that saw that body. Now listen to that. So I got in the yard and I was about to lose my cool because I was thinking if I could take some molecules out there and make me some guns and kill me some white folks. And one man said, now be cool. You're doing the same thing you promised me you'd never do. And I started crying. And then I heard Jesse Jackson say, he told me, Jesse, take our people onto the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him. And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy came back, says, no need of prayer, no need of cry, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over. He's going to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on, telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment. When they shot Dr. King, a black guy come running around that corner saying, he went that way, he went that way. James Earl Ray no more killed Dr. King, and I killed him. And everybody knew it. He was a Apache set up. And the guy said, went that way, went that way. I said, who went that way? He said, that man ran out that building and dropped the rifle on the sidewalk and jumped in a white Mustang, had a red Alabama tag and took off. Well, hell, I wasn't worried. That's no car in America look like a Mustang, but a Mustang, a white with red Alabama tag. Where's he going? The police have him like that. And I asked that rifle was left on that sidewalk. That was the rifle that James Earl Ray.
There go Jesse Jackson. You might not be able to see it. There go Abernathy. There go the ball. I told y'all when the boy was telling everybody he was pointing every way. Everybody was pointing. different way. The shooter was right down there in the parking lot. He was right there in the parking lot and shot Martin Luther King. But don't worry about it. Let me show you something. Let me show you why I don't believe shit stink until I smell it. And some of y'all shit be stinking. Now, here is Dane Calloway. I'm going to show you just what Dane Calloway put out about the same situation. If you don't know your roots, you see his last joint, what it say? The Quiet Blueprint on Wealth. Look at Jesse Jackson, all hugged up with him, all like he cool, like he his friend. This is my homeboy.
Trial where they brought a wrongful death suit, and I'll explain that to you quickly in a minute. But what you're fixing to witness now,
This is our ancestor.
The man who
This one our ancestors right here.
came by to get King to take him to dinner. And 30 years later at a press conference, he slipped because God do baffle your mind.
Some of the activities are geared especially for the young who did not have a chance to get to feel or to know what the civil rights movement actually was about. Even as they marched, now they could have stopped in a hotel, but when you think about marching from Memphis to Jackson or Jackson to Memphis, that were no hotels. You stayed in churches, you stayed in people's homes, and that's how we got over. That's how we got through. The struggle was a spiritual struggle. You couldn't pay people to do what we had to do. You couldn't pay people to stand before mad dogs and fire hoses and billy clubs and cattle prods. It was strictly a spiritual and moral movement. So we wanted that dimension to be in the pilgrimage to Memphis. We will revisit the mountaintop speech site. That's the Mason's Temple, where Dr. King made his last address, which he almost didn't make, because the night that we were having that rally, there were tornado warnings, and he was behind on the Poor People's Campaign. And he said, you guys go on over and have the rally. I'm going to stay at the motel and work on the Poor People's Campaign. When we got there and Dr. Abernathy walked in and Jesse Jackson walked in and I walked in and others, people started clapping because they thought Martin was behind us. And so Ralph's preacher said to him, this is not our crowd. And he went to the phone and called Dr. King. And any of the marches that we had in those days, you have an opportunity to bring the children and bring the family and march with us. And when I finished sharing with them the last hour of Dr. King's life, a hurry. But that gave me the wonderful privilege of spending the last hour on earth. 3 preachers in a room, Abernathy, King, and Kyle. And we spent that last hour together in room 306 at the Lorraine Motel. The press is always curious, and writers, what went on? What did you talk about? I said, we just talked preacher talk. what preachers talk about when they get together.
Y'all pay real
Revivals
attention
and
to
all
what
that.
you're fixing to hear now.
About 5:45, we walked on the balcony, and he was talking to people in the courtyard. He stood here and I stood there. Only as I moved away, so we could have a clear shot, the shot rang out.
Thank you.
I turned around and then knelt in the back on the balcony. Only as I moved away, so we could have a clear shot, the shot rang out. Only as I moved away, so we could have a clear shot, the shot rang out.
Thank you.
I turned around and then knelt in the back on the balcony.
Listen.
This Dane Calloway. What's his stuff?
Wait, listen. Listen. 30 years later, this brother never realized he was slip and say that. Do you know what happened when you sit in a jury room about a conspiracy and this piece of film is introduced?
About conspiracy.
He stood here, I stood here, only as I moved away so he could have a clear shot. The shot rang out. Hey. This was the brother that he was going by his house for dinner. To my brother Matty, you will have a copy of this tape. I'll get it back to you. And what you should do is make copies. See to it, because this is a very valuable. And y'all need to send this tape to people all over this country.
How many people watched this joint? This joint was out for 9 fucking years. My grandmother died right after this. But as soon as she died, she told right before she died, she told me about property in Georgia. She said, get the long form of the birth certificate.
And so this was the trial that went on that the press didn't want to report because they couldn't. Huh? They couldn't. And so we have to stop getting mad and upset because the same system that's killing us refuse to tell us the truth. You have to use your own God-given intelligence. If we was all over Germany today walking down the street and we see this big old building and it's named after Adolf Hitler, you don't have to be too smart to realize something is going on inside that building. But how come you don't understand that when you walk down in Washington, D.C. and see that big old brand new FBI building named after J. Edgar Hoover? How come we don't know something evil is going on inside that building? Let me briefly tell you some of the things that you overheard. The trial should have lasted a day and a half. It lasted 30 days. The black press in Memphis didn't even show up.
This story fucked y'all up. Remember, he died in Memphis. And I don't brag, but I was going to Commercial Appeal, and it was telling me everything I needed to know about the Dolph killing. It was called Commercial Appeal. They was in the Martin Luther King case. They sued and said that they should have It's commercial appeal. That's the new John down in there, and everything about the Dolph case that you need, the finer details with pictures, everything. I was sending them shits to Ratchet TV. He never published them. Tell him to put that shit out. The shit I was showing him from commercial appeal. Tell him to show you the picture that I showed of the whiteboard that they actually found down there with Alexis Ware. I be on top of my shit. I'm not playing around with none of these niggas on here. You gonna fuck my name up, talking about I was trying to kill you. Fuck you, man. I was trying to kill you, nigga. If I was trying to kill you, it wouldn't have been no try. Peep gang.
About 6 years ago, a white man named Lord Yall, who probably, now this is just my philosophy, who probably was told they're fixing to blame the King murders on you. So he went to ABC, and they did a whole section with him, telling them how he was involved with the conspiracy and who it was. And then they never ran him. So now he's running for his life. So he goes to the King family, and he tells them the same thing that he told ABC. He tells them 3 times, and the 4th time, Andy Young. And they filmed it, they taped it. And he said, I was given $100,000 by Frank Liberto, who was the mafia puppet who ran Memphis for the big mafia.
Let me stop for a minute. Now, Mike Tyson, I got into an argument with niggas, and I told him, I said, yo, Young Dolph was at the Mike Tyson Lewis fight. Mike Tyson was doing the ring walk. Young Dolph was right there, like behind me. He had on a kufi. So then finally, somebody come on the joint. I ain't even fucking table because I already know what I saw. I don't have to prove shit. Let's look. That's my homie from Philly. And he makes a statement. Truth doesn't have to be validated by ignorance. I don't give a fuck if you believe me or not, but I like to get into it. I'm a debater. I like to shut them the fuck up by showing them just how much knowledge I know, just how much I read, just how much I pay attention.
Boys out of New Orleans. So it was Frank Liberto, he said, that gave him $100,000 to set up the whole mechanism for killing King. And the building right behind the Lorraine Hotel with the courtyard bumped into, Lord Jarvis had a restaurant called Jim's Grill. He also said that at the first meeting, here's who was there, so-and-so was there, so-and-so was there. And let me tell you, there was some black folks there too. The black man a very famous figure that was leaning over Martin Luther King, Merle McCullough. He was there at the first meeting. We didn't know at the time his job was to do two things. One was to point everybody in the wrong direction. It was him that pointed and said the shots came from there. Not only was he an undercover cop, he was so undercover that his paycheck didn't even come from the Memphis Police Department, it came from the utility company.
What I'm telling you, I told you, I'm like, yo, the cop from Memphis, his paycheck didn't even come from the police department. That shit came from a utility company.
Now tonight, if we sit here, he's a CIA agent. His other job was to.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm listening to an ancestor right here. And he's from Philly. I don't know who he married and his kids and all of that. I don't know. I don't know them. Stop being on the fucking census because, yo, I said fuck Jesse Jackson. Y'all ain't ever hear that shit. And I told that black label, you put us under so much shit. I'm glad your fucking ass gone. Didn't nobody tell you in 1988 to be fucking asking for trying to get the government? Yo, it was judges and everything that was going against being called black. Does your skin look black? This background of the picture is black. God said he made us from the dirt. You could look at black dirt. Yeah, depending where you from. If he made you from the dirt, what color would your skin be? It'd be fucking brown. You seen white dirt? You ain't say I made you from the beach.
Infiltrate a little group of little juvenile thugs. They call themselves the invaders. And y'all got to be careful about what y'all join just because they're yelling and screaming about white. Y'all got to be careful about what kind of evil, nasty black folks you get around that want to go blow up something and then wonder why you get arrested on your way there.
Why you get arrested on your way? On your way? There. Yeah, we're going to go fuck this John up, this, that, and the third. Yo, bro, oh, come on, man. Chill out with that. For real. But I ain't say it. I just let y'all see who be trying to give y'all some game, and I be trying to give y'all a little other game by just showing you paperwork, show you motherfuckers got arrested and the FBI was already waiting for them. I'm like, all right, but let me show you how it go. This is a dirty game.
Martin Luther King was preparing for the Poor People's March in Washington, D.C. Yet many senators and many Congress people said, we don't think he should come here because we are afraid of the amount of violence that will be created. Martin Luther King's answer to that was, I've led demonstrations, there's been violence, but it wasn't on our side. It was people attacking us. Now, if I'm going to be blamed for that, then there's something wrong. So they decided they would create a violent situation. And Merle McClellan, the undercover Memphis cop, had also infiltrated the invaders. And it was when King came in for one day to lead that march. One day. To lead that march. One day. And it was their job to see to it that it broke into a ride so King could no longer say that I've never led a march and led a ride. And that was to force him to come back for a second march so they could kill him. And so, all at once, the King family decides to sue Lord Yall on a wrongful death suit.
Sue one man for the whole conspiracy. I don't got a name. Now let's look at the paperwork from the case and see. No matter of fact, let's let you listen to the testimony that was given.
Not that they wanted any money, so the first time the truth could be validated and documented. There's a lot of people upset about the Truth and Reconciliation Committee in South Africa, but 100 years from now, because of that, 100 years from now, nobody has to say, let me tell you what those black folks say they did to them. They can't say that now because white folks came and testified on the oath that this is what we did. Because of this trial, no longer will anybody be able to say, these conspirators allege this to have happened. It's documented under oath. They subpoenaed the captain who was over the fire station, which was across the street, firehouse number 2 from the Lorraine Hotel. 34 years later, he's 34 years older, 7 years old, back, getting ready to die, wanting to find Jesus. So he came and raised his hand and told the truth. Would you give your name? Yes. How old are you? What's your occupation? I'm retired. What was it before you retired? Memphis. Fine. What was your top rank? Battalion commander. Where were you on April the 4th, 19...
The what? The battalion commander. Fire department don't lie.
1968 when Martin Luther King was shot. Said I was in charge of the fire station across the street from the Lorraine Hotel. Did you notice anything different that day? Yeah, early that morning, some people came and introduced themselves as Army intelligence. Said they'd like to go up on the roof and put King under surveillance. What'd you do? I led them up to the roof. What'd they have with them? They had large.
They said some people came in and said that they was Army intelligence. AI. They ain't never gonna tell you who the fuck they are. You don't never say if you was a all they get is a star. The CIA, all of them people, when they die, all they get is a star. On the wall in Virginia. No. It ain't too far from fucking Quantico, I know that. It is like right there. I drive past that joint, all the NSA, all of that. That's down Virginia, the headquarters. Just out of range of something.
Containers, small containers. What do you think was in the containers? I don't know. What do you think? Well, it could have been stuff to take motion pictures, still pictures. Could the containers held high paparazzi? Yes, they could have. And then what happened? Well, later that day when the shot rang out, they were still on the roof. So we know that the United States government not only had pictures of Martin Luther King being killed, they also had pictures of the person that did it. He said, then what happened? He said, then I rushed across the street and ran up the steps where King was laying on the ground, and I helped put him on the stretcher. He said, did you get to see the wound? Say, yes. Would you describe it to the jury? Say, the wound was going up, which means he had been shot from down here, not up there.
The same old head is the same thing that Mr. Williams just said on Instagram, the little Instagram drawing I started out with. The same thing. He said it was going in his cheek. But he was in the military. So when he said when I ran up there, he immediately knew. He said that I ain't he immediately knew what was going on. He said he wanted to kill Jesse Jackson. Is he an angry black man? Is he an angry black man? Look at all this gray hair he got. The Bible tells us gray hair like this. He got a lot of wisdom.
He's a white man who ran the fire station, who probably 30-some years ago couldn't care if King lived or died. He's a white man sitting there saying to 6 black and 6 white jury that, yes, I saw the wound and the wound went this way. And the next one to testified, he interviewed people from military intelligence, the 111, the 209. The 209 is so vicious, they were scared of CIA. And the 184, that's the sniper team, that's the Rangers. When they had to admit they was there, they say, well, we was there as a backup, and that leads you to believe they was talking about the backup in case the security broke down. They was there to back up in case that hit didn't get, they were supposed to take him out. That's what the jury heard.
Okay. 18.
Lord Yall,
18.
defense was real heavy. There was so much overwhelming evidence that there was a conspiracy. His defense was, yes, I was part of a conspiracy. I just didn't know the person that I was supposed to have killed was Martin Luther King. And what made that so beautiful, it meant that they couldn't object to none of the stuff that was going because they wanted everybody to know what we knew, that it was a conspiracy. He just didn't know it was Dr. King. 70 witnesses. They got to hear. For us to see that film. They got to listen to Earl Clark's wife. Who was Earl Clark? But when the shot rang out, the dude who shot took the rifle and gave it to Lord Jawas, and he took it through the back of his restaurant window, and then he jumped over a concrete embankment. There was a black cab driver called Butler, cab 58. He heard the shot. He didn't know King had been hit. He got out the cab to see what happened, see this white man jumping over this concrete embankment. So he followed him around the corner and watched him get into a police cruiser. That man who shot King was Earl Clark, Memphis cop. Dead now. But they subpoenaed his wife. He came to defend the good name of Earl. My husband couldn't have done that because he was homesick all that day. And what time did he find out Dr. King had been shot? Well, he found out over his police radio. And then what happened? He realized how serious it was that he had to go in. And then what happened? All of his uniforms was in the cleaners. So I had to go get his uniforms out. Miss Clark, you aware what time Dr. King was shot? Oh, I think it was a little bit after 6 o'clock. Miss Clark, are you aware that the cleaners closed at 5? That's what the jewelry heard. That's what the jewelry heard.
Civil jury.
There's an FBI agent by the name of Donald Wilson. He's the one that found the Mustang that Lee Harvey Oswald was driving. He found it in Atlanta, and he found some notes in it that he said the minute he read the notes, he knew it was a conspiracy, but he called one of the numbers, this is 1968, that was on the number, and it ended up going to a nightclub in Dallas that Jack Ruby used to own, and Jack Ruby is the one who killed Lee Harvey Oswald, who was arrested for killing Kennedy. He said he got so scared he never turned it in because he thought if he turned
Lee Harvey Oswald. Yo, a Dallas officer, I'm gonna tell you what his name was. Tepper. He looked just like JFK. Yeah, he walked up. Yeah, so if the ball was involved in anything, Lee Harvey Oswald was in Oak Cliff. He, he killed that officer. And so they could switch to Bizarres. That's why Marvin Gaye was singing that song.
Turn it in, and they know he looked at that, they would kill him. This is the FBI. This is who we have to deal with every day. Those of us out here in the movement have to deal with folks who are a white FBI agent said, I didn't turn this stuff in, because had I turned it in, they probably would have killed me. That's some of the things they heard at the trial. Just to set the record straight, Jerry Del Rey never confessed to killing King. He pleaded guilty. There's a difference. If a cop grabbed me and said, I'll kill all your granddaughters if you don't say you took that person, plead guilty. A confession means you have to know some of the intricate details that nobody else knows but the police who was there investigating and the person that did it. He never confessed. This document went into the records.
Into the record. Into the record. Listen. Yo, when I seen that the Kings only asked for like $128, they wasn't in need of the money. They just wanted the record to show.
He had probably one of the best defense attorneys that had ever lived in the history of the planet at the time. His defense attorney was called Percy Thornton from Houston. Lawyers used to come in from all over the world and just go to this bar where he used to hang out and just sit and listen to Percy talk. He was that Percy Foreman, James L. Ray's lawyer, sent him on March the 9th, 1969. Percy Foreman, Houston, Texas, March the 9th, 1969. Mr. James Earl Ray, Shelby County Jail, Memphis, Tennessee. Dear James Earl, you had asked that I advance to your brother Ray, Jerry Ray, $500 of the $5,000 referred to in the first $5,000 paid by William Bradford Huey on January the 29th. Mr. Huey advanced an additional $5,000. At that time, I had spent in excess of $9,500 on your case. Since then, I had spent in excess of $4,000 additional. But I am willing to advance Jerry $500 and add that to the $165,000 mentioned in my other letter to you today. In other words, I would receive the first $165,500, but I would make the advance to your brother of $500. And this advance also is contingent upon your plea of guilty at the sentencing tomorrow on March the 10th without any unseemly conduct on your part in the courtroom. Here's a man's lawyer that told him your father 30 years ago jumped bail, put him in jail. If you don't plead guilty, I, your lawyer, personally will see to it you get elected chair. And all the way, we're trying to explain how y'all got all this money. So the government is going to say that your brother, you robbed banks. So he's going to jail if you don't go in and plead guilty to him. The jury got this letter from his lawyer, promising him $165,000, but it was contingent on him. Thank God to the King family. Thank God to William Pepper that handled that case. Thank God to everybody out here and the many people that died. His brother was murdered. They said he drowned in the swimming pool. Dr. King's brother, because he was questioning King's death. AD. They tried to kill Coretta in the church and missed her and killed Dr. King's mother and made like it was some little crazy lunatic guy that came down. And yet, King.
I know who my family be marrying, but I check them out. You just never know. And I don't know who nobody is. I don't know nothing. But I know this ain't fucking back people sacrificing their kids. Sacrificing them to do what? I'm supposed to give them to the Lord. I'm God to them until they old enough, they brain mature enough and everything that they should know God. I remember my grandma and my mom saying that they gave me to the Lord. Yeah, I was in the street. I ain't nobody. So if I told you I ain't know nobody, stop calling me by my first fucking name. Because I know your first fucking name. You've been shown mercy. And I know who now you tell me the other boy that's your cousin. I'm gonna fuck if you're your cousin or not. He can get to the back of his dome. You motherfuckers trying to spill innocent blood. Yeah, that's how it's going down. I don't play with people's kids. Not even grown kids. Somebody kid, right? Yeah, I don't got time to play games. Be careful what the fuck y'all saying when y'all say war. That's wrong.
Family kept on moving. Never born with millions of dollars. Never had the glamour that the Kennedy family had, and yet the Kennedy family haven't spent one nickel trying to find out what had happened to the Kennedys, including that funny little thing that went down with John last summer. And so I say to you tonight, make no doubt about it, we are in one of the most evil, nasty, vicious, insane, ungodly, unethical systems that's ever existed in the history of the planet.
Let's get to the paperwork. Why the fuck you pussies? Why y'all motherfuckers don't talk about this? Huh? So the paperwork right here. Yeah, but I want listen. I just showed you they already won. They already won. While y'all looking at the fight, yeah, this what was going on. While y'all was watching the fight in the ring, like a robbery was going on. I was waiting. Yeah. Now, they've been found guilty. Look, and Commercial Appeal wants access to the transcripts of the voir dire and proceedings. They got them. They published them. Some people have them, and they said, but they got one of the ancestors telling us what to say. He was in the courtroom. Court. Hmm. Court. Hmm. Yeah, on. Those I just wanted to get y'all on camera. To see who was in the courtroom. It was one, just me, against all y'all attorneys. And where I made y'all come from, Texas to Pennsylvania. I know that. I know you ain't gonna like that because you didn't do that. You had to come up there and show because I had the trust agreement, your trust agreement, and it was redacted. And I highlighted the only part that I needed to know. Number one, a trust is not a bank. Most fucking realtors and some of you dumbass YouTubers down here don't know what the fuck you talking about. A trust ain't a fucking bank. Not a private one. It's private. So somebody come in trying to infiltrate, yeah, you lucky you motherfucking you living.
then spreads outward as sets, and affiliates pop up in other states through migration, alliances, and drug and gun pipelines. In this lineup, you can see how that expansion shows up in real-world cases. A federal racketeering conviction tied to Blood's power in Newburgh, NY. A Metro Atlanta crackdown that hit Blood's link groups during a long investigation that started with deletions, and a Northeast Wisconsin-style enterprise framing where prosecutors and task forces treat crews like supply chain operations instead of isolated street arrests. Add in the New Jersey Parkside the Ville RICO-style allegations, East Texas affidavits that claim a 5'9" bounty hunter Blood's crew was tied to evidence tampering around a deletion, and Detroit's federal racketeering convictions, and the bigger theme becomes clear. This isn't one city's problem, it's a network story that keeps repeating in different locations.
Stay dangerous, that's the words for us.
That's our lingo. Like, bless the bottle, that came from right here. We didn't even know what type of struggle we was in, though, because we always had each other having fun, though.
They had a cup of noodles in there with no water, Blood, you feel me?
No capping around here.
Where really, yeah.
Pretty dangerous, bro.
Nobody.
Even the forces of law and order try to be careful entering Nickerson Gardens. It looks like a garden, but it has the crime rate of a ghetto terrorized by gangs who are out of control.
See, if you're a street person, you know when to go in there and when not to go in there. If your vibes tell you to go, you go. If your vibes tell you to lay back, hey man, you got to be cool, because you go off in there against your vibes and they shermed out, you dead.
This is the original scene, 114th and Alvaro. The Nickerson Gardens public housing complex is right there on the left. That's those yellow buildings. And then as those officers were responding is when they found out that there was an additional gunshot victim at 112th and Central. LA Fire Department was there. They took both of the people to the hospital. Right now, their condition is unknown. This was originally described on the radio as a drive-by shooting.
Bumping tonight as Kendrick Lamar and some other big-name artists put on a free concert in Toy Drive.
The bounty hunter Bloods in the late 1960s within the Nickerson Gardens public housing projects in the Watts district of Los Angeles, where they were initially formed around 1969 under the name Green Jackets by key figures like Gary Barker to counter the rising influence of local Crip gangs. As one of the earliest and most militant subsets to align with the Bloods Federation, they entrenched themselves as the dominant force in Nickerson Gardens while engaging in a volatile, decades-long feud with the Grape Street Watts Crips. Over time, their influence expanded well beyond Los Angeles, driven by...
I read this already. So when I tell you, I know the struggle that's going on when you join a gang. I ain't gang. I ain't none of that shit. Just wanted to throw a little joint in there. This was the FBI file after they already been caught. Y'all got caught, man. This is It's non-classified. It's in the state court. Look, you can see the Jones. I don't give a fuck what people believe. What is it? Serials 5-2. Make sure y'all seeing this. It's a 14-page. The case is 80 SD 61835 sub 2 5-2. Phone number right there. FBI press office. Precedents. Media. Unclassified. You know why it's unclassified? Subject: Department of Justice Report RA Investigation of recent allegations. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Please hand carry to each SAC special agent in charge and media rep. Originator's name: John Collingwood. Introduction and conclusion of the DOJ report to be released tomorrow, June 9th. SACs are free to respond locally. This is the federal document that they sent. This is the Justice Department, Eagle. judge, the jury already done said this. These boys guilty. The Kings didn't want no money. They only wanted like the judgment was only for like $100 something. It was less than $100, and they gave it away. They just wanted on the record what happened, and then you see, look what the Justice Department doing. We don't find no evidence. I know y'all never find no fucking evidence. The boy just said he worked for y'all. Y'all denying that he worked for y'all. All right, well, deny this nigga that he independent contractor. Nobody give a fuck. The paperwork say rainwater. Rainwater either gonna tell or gonna die. This took me a minute to understand what they was what someone may be trying to accomplish. I don't know. We are the receipts because we are the ones that got both our eyes on all of you motherfuckers in the Moultrie troll beef sector. Y'all don't know what the fuck I be doing behind the scenes. I don't be telling nobody, and I just know if somebody told something that I told them, or that I gave them some money. You don't know me. I'm just MGR. Don't be calling out my motherfucking name. Do you know me? We dated somewhere? Fuck is you writing a book? Yeah, because that's the name of, the ghost book. Yeah, like if I'm on the hit list or some shit like that. Yeah, y'all will fuck your peoples up and your other peoples up too. Yeah, if you ain't know that I knew your fucking first name, and I ain't know that your name was in that fucking indictment, get the fuck out of here. Told y'all, I played them. Yeah, you ain't never heard dog talk. Don't call me by my first name. You didn't give it to me. I ain't gonna call you by your first name. Call me by MGR. We are the receipts. Other than that, we don't got no proper communication on here because I don't fucking call nobody by their first name. Except so. You smart. I catch every little thing you trying to push out, little bitch ass ratchet. Talking about something to whoever. It ain't who lasts the longest. Nigga, ratchet, I'll kill you and I'll stop your whole bloodline. If I wanted to, I could have your whole bloodline killed. Because I've been looked it up. I'm going to end the bloodline. So ain't no more motherfucking kids coming up out of there that got that fucking disease that you got that you refuse to fucking, address. That you was a child molester. You, Sean G, so y'all gonna keep putting hits out. Yeah, I was in the fucking John, and if y'all want to keep putting hits out because y'all trying to cover up who fucking trafficking kids and who molesting them, yeah, niggas want to get hit. Yeah, niggas will get hit. Motherfuckers ain't the only ones that already fucking, yo, man, get the fuck out of here. Motherfuckers is trying to make up for a mistake that they did. One of their guns got caught out on that fucking street. Me and my partner, we turned ourselves around. In the military. You know how sometimes you just want to be on a mission. Yeah, paper. Yeah, but yeah. All these Parkers and Harrises. Yeah, come on. Them motherfuckers don't know what them shits be. Could stand for HP, PH. But I don't know nothing. People stop worrying about trying to be somebody that they not. You don't know who the fuck they talking about. You should shut the fuck up before you get chopped the fuck up. I don't have no boundaries. And the only people that don't have boundaries don't give a fuck. You're entitled to trial by a jury of your peers, which is a cross section of your community. O.J. Simpson won the criminal case and lost the civil case, and he had to pay money. But y'all don't know who Raul is? That would come in and allow this to get out. Forcing somebody else Do what they doing now. Attack every institution that put blacks down and said that we was dumb. So they bring in people from Ghana. From the beginning, Jawa's story has been the product of a carefully orchestrated promotional effort. In 1993, shortly after the HBO television mock trial, Jowers and a small circle of friends, all represented by the same attorney, sought to gain the legitimacy for the conspiracy allegations by presenting their first to the state prosecutor, then to the media. Modus operandi. So when Rainwater went off script, where he was at. And 11 Alive, he told that Boosie got shot. Ew. Why you telling them people that got shot, bro? Why the fuck is you spilling secrets, man? Niggas is out here trying to get Miz on you. You telling where motherfuckers got shot? Then starting up shit, some extra shit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Show you that Dr. King's murder was tied into JFK's murder. And I just asked the question, why the same fucking people keep acting, they all these murders, they fucking always on shit. And they always talking about black people. What black people? Who the fuck is you to call somebody black? You on a census, motherfucker? You work for the government, you take a census, they have sending people to my fucking crib and everything. Yeah, that's you bitches on here on YouTube. That's why I don't like you black bitches. Yeah, you call yourself African American. You ever been to Africa? Somebody dropped your black ass off up from Africa, you would know something how to move around. Where you at from Africa? Yeah, because Oprah Winfrey, she just claimed that she's Zulu. She don't know shit about being Zulu. She ain't never been there or nothing. Y'all heard about the school she was, what they did to those kids over there? The fuck out of here. Y'all know who the fuck Raul is. Or Rom, whoever the fuck you want to call him. But I had 2 birth certificates. Maybe 30. My family only called me by one name. You better fucking stay that way. If I see it on this fucking internet, I'm telling you. The hole, you see these 2 holes in the top of hair, I'm gonna put 2 holes right on top of somebody's head. But you can play with God's name all you want. My mom didn't name me after God first. She named me after 3 killers. Killers always have 3 names. This is a press release from the King Center. July 21st, 2025. Put this out. So the rest of you niggas, African Americans and all of that, go read a fucking book. Stop reading all these books about some fucking stars lining up and all of this bullshit. Y'all go read this shit and see how your government treating. If you ain't heard of the discovery doctrine, shut the fuck up. It's a paper right online. Just type in discovery doctrine. And it'll tell you what the Roman Catholic Church did to try to had the whole land over here before they even got here. I hate talking to people I can't. You can't rationalize with them because they think I'm in competition with them when you aren't any competition. Everything. I'm scared of shit. I ain't scared of no fucking body, not even death. It's a point of time that everybody should die. Let me put that purple shirt.
Member migration and drug trafficking networks that establish chapters in states such as Texas, Michigan, New Jersey, and Virginia, including the 59 bounty hunters in Houston. Despite this national reach, their cultural center remains in Watts, where they cemented their legacy by playing a pivotal role in the historic 1992 gang truce just days before the Los Angeles riots, remaining one of the most significant blood sets in the country today.
Now, this is all part of a 9 to 10 month investigation, sparked by both committed by two gangs, the 8th gang and also the bounty hunters, and they're
say rainwater was on 11 alive. This joint 2 days ago. It only got 2.9K views.
They're both subsets of the notorious Bloods. Officers say for these gang members, violence, intimidation, and destroying families is their trademark. This multi-agency task force say they are absolutely committed to putting the squeeze on gangs in Metro Atlanta.
The mother of this man right there in the middle says they're all friends and they just enjoy making rap music videos.
All the music videos they do have props in for entertainment purposes only. Goes them with, guns, smoking, how rappers do.
Amanda says the guns and cash are fake. The man pointing the gun is Jamarquise Wright. He's the teen accused of a marriage that I covered last year. The district attorney told me it's one of the cases that sparked 2 indictments involving 20 people, totaling 169 counts. Police say the 10-month investigation involved federal, state, and local authorities. According to the indictments, investigators used social media to tie some of the alleged gang members to criminal activity.
In Van Ness Street, Metro Atlanta investigators said a 9-10-month multi-agency gang probe led to a large coordinated arrest operation in Cobb and Clayton counties, with help from partners including Cobb County Police, the FBI, Marietta Police, and Clayton County Police. Prosecutors said the investigation grew out of Cobb County deletion cases and ultimately produced 2 major indictments targeting 2 Bloods-linked groups, the APE gang and the Bounty Hunter Bloods. Authorities said about 30 people were arrested overall. Reporting tied the APER-related case to a December 2017 fatal shooting in a hotel room off Highlands Parkway in Smyrna and described arrests/charges connected to that homicide. The Bounty Hunters side was connected to a separate Cobb County deletion case, including the 2018 demise of Clarence George in Mableton, and investigators said arrests in that branch included suspects already on the court system's radar.
Victor Dorm, a member of a Wilmington street gang, now off the streets officially for at least the next 20 years. That's how long he's been sentenced for various drug and weapons charges. He was the leader of what's known as the Bounty Hunter Bloods. It's an offshoot of the Bloods gang over a span of time from 2016 to 2017.
Yeah, oh, now y'all deny affiliation? Right, that's how you're supposed to. But somebody already copped to it.
He sold a confidential informant hundreds of doses of long guns, short guns, even high-capacity ammunition. Now, he wasn't alone. 3 others have been sentenced in connection to the operation.
Federal prosecutors say a long-running undercover investigation in Wilmington ended with a 20-year federal sentence for Victor Eugene Dorm, described by investigators as a leader of a Bounty Hunter Blood subset operating in the city. Authorities said the case, built by ATF and the Wilmington Police.
Lee didn't deserve it. None of these boys deserve it. When you're just trying to live your dreams and feed your family, the mess gotta stop.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just a real life street stars. Know what time it is.
I remember I talked to Joke and did he send you his question? Because he had wanted to talk about the Roy Lee documentary that he filmed.
Yeah, let's before we get out of here, can you touch on Roy Lee?
R.I.P. Roy Lee. My niece was there with him when he died. My niece had a baby with his nephew. He was there when he died. I don't feel like them boys had anything to do with Roy Lee's death. Roy Lee died from a blood clot from the gunshot wound that he suffered the week before. From my understanding, he was on the phone with Rainwater on his way to go meet Rainwater when somebody came out the blue shooting at him. I know I did talk to him the night he got shot. I talked to him the night that he got beat up. Him and Yall had that fight at the club. He had just left me in the club I had over there with Kane Barrett, ready to go, when they jumped him at the club. I know I talked to 3 that night that he died. I know I talked to Kim, Yellow Mama, that night that Roy Lee.
You talked to 3 the night that he died. What?
Kim, Yellow Mama, that night that Roy Lee died, that Yellow got shot up. I know I talked to Kim. I know I talked to 3. I know I tried to avoid that situation altogether. What happened to the city is very tragic. Roy Lee didn't deserve that. None of these boys deserve that. When you're just trying to live your dreams and feed your family, the mess gotta stop. I plead to the content creators like yourself, real life street stars. The reason why I did give y'all this, like you said, now I trust y'all. Y'all not out here selling people stories and working with the feds. I know y'all better than me. I know your mamas and your kids and everything. I know your background. I just plea out to the bloggers that and the people who are here unknowingly. I just pray that this could help people understand what's really going on in the industry and miss the pieces where they won't get caught up into the situation like myself and everybody else are getting caught up into. The bloggers, you have to watch them. The podcasters, they're watching you, and because they are what is really ruining our industry, ruining our culture, by the bloggers keeping up the mess, and the bloggers are entrapping us. So until we can bring back a decorum into the culture of respect, and number one, and integrity, and we run the rats out of here and clean house and put real people like real life street stars in places to control the narrative and the content that comes out respectfully the right way, we're going to continue to have these type of situations.
Put out the rats. Put out the rats. Ratchet TV can't fuck with her. Mo3 Troll Beef Sector, y'all can't fuck with her. Y'all can't even tell me who the fuck made this John or wise learned leaders. Then you would probably know, yeah, y'all ain't fucking with me. But we don't have no agreement, but yeah, I don't do music, I just like music.
But I'm doing comedy now.
I know.
I'm laughing out the pain.
I know. Yeah, that's
And put the world on official notice that Big Sky is single. The new Sky is single, and she is dating. But I am celibate. I'm wifey material. I am the most eligible bachelorette in the game. They let a real bitch back in. A lot of things have changed.
all right. And Bars Comedy, where can give us your Instagram so when people will catch you?
Comedian Sky with 2 Y's, the center. I chose Comedian Sky the center, number one, to piss the people off in my church. The little old ladies that get in my nerves every Sunday on the usher board trying to kick me off. And then center is it's a way for me to make sure that I'm keeping God with me, because all of us are sinners. You know, so I am, through my comedy, being the most authentic Sky that I can be. I'm doing every.
You see the book? Yeah, you know why I touching her? The only people I know that roll like this. I'm telling you. But I see his braids.
Everything that I've put into everybody else for so long, and I'm putting it into myself, and I'm doing the exact same thing. I've mentored with Lunell this whole time. This whole time, I have been mentoring with Lunell in and out of LA, in and out of Vegas.
Lunell. That's some girl, she got the short hair, the old hair, the short hair. She was on the joint with
So, you know, I do old school. You know, I raised you from the ground up. So I am doing real live stand-up. Not no internet scripted and doing nothing like that. Like, actually, I've been in Hollywood getting the...
So let me just stop her. Rainwater on Boss Talk, right? He think I don't know. I've been caught them. Rainwater. You always talking on Boss Talk. Talking to the police. I guarantee you talking to the police. Because I don't know either one of their names. Never looked them up. The only people that make me mad like that, and when my boys go out and we came up as boss something. So that was your agent.